Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus doing some of the World Championship Spotlight decks, which, as a friendly reminder, are best of one. So if you're looking for best of 3 standard gameplay, I suggest you click off this video. But if, like me, you haven't had a chance to play with all the top tier decks in standard because you don't have access to all of them through your collection on Arena, stay tuned. So we're going to take a look at the blue-white control decks in this particular thing, including Paulo Victor Damarosa's World Championship winning deck, as well as the one by Andrei Strasky and Theodof Severin. If I did those correctly. Taking a look at Paulo's list. The main thing that stands out with this list, obviously Birth of Meletus and Omen of the Sea, as well as Elfsveth Conquers Death, has become a very important part of these archetypes. He's also using Thirst for Meaning as a way to garner card advantage. With all the extra enchantments running around, including Banishing Light, you do generally have things to pitch. Mystical Disputes here in the main deck as kind of a nod to any type of blue mirror. And then beyond that, you have Narset and Teferi, 1-2 combination, and your actual win cons to win the game are Archon of Sun's Grace. If you on top with this, it's pretty good against the aggressive decks. And then obviously Dream Trawler is a very good card. And Castle Ardenvale to close out the game. 4 copies of Absorb, for only 3 copies of Shatter the Sky, make you a little bit more vulnerable to the aggressive decks. So, interesting build. Let's take a look at some of the other builds. We have Andrei Strasky's list here. Pretty much looks the same as Paulo's. I'm not seeing anything at a glance here. They quite likely work together, very doing the same things, Archon Sun's Grace, Dream Trawler, and Castle Ardenvale as your win cons. And then the final one is Theodof Severin's, which is the actual deck we're going to be playing. I happen to like it a little bit better than what was going on with Paulo's list. The main thing with this one is it has 4 copies of Dream Trawler as kind of your win cons, still, and 4 copies of Narset, 4 copies of Teferi. None of the Thirst for Knowledge or Thirst for Meaning. Still have the Birth of Meletus and Elspeth Conquers Death package. 4 copies of Shatter the Sky, which are pretty good when you're running into the mono red decks. And then only 1 Mystical Dispute in the main deck, which makes it a little bit worse against the Teamer Wilderness Rec decks and the mono red decks that are going on, which we will cover in a different video. With that said, let's get into a couple of matches with this particular build sitting in front of you. Going up game 1 against Seth Manfield's deck, which was I believe a mono red based deck. This hand's okay, a little bit slow. We need to find the Wrath probably pretty quickly, but being on the play, I'm much more willing to keep this hand. So, Absorb here, kind of a difficult one. Keeps you alive in certain spots, but I think we have to bottom it for now. So we're really looking for ways to kind of get to the mid game before Absorb really becomes relevant. Fervent Champion starts the pressure immediately. Narset's fine, but not great. Don't have any of the Birth of Meletus or anything kind of going on, so something to keep in mind. Probably setting up a good old-fashioned lay up the stage turn. Nope, just a Steam Kid. Alright. Digging for lands, digging for Wraths. I think we bottom both those. We need to untap lands into Wraths. So go ahead and run out Teferi here, bounce the Steamkin, kind of blank their last turn. Absorb, not a terrible draw here. Annex is a rough one. So we're playing on Nurse setting here. Looking for a Shatter the Sky, which is nice. Top land. Interesting to see what our opponent runs out this turn. They could potentially Embercleave us, but That would certainly be a lot of damage. Sure. Take a hit for 5 here. Looks like it's going to be more than that with the Alright, so let's So which one of these makes the most sense? Probably going to need another Narset to kind of refuel if we happen to survive here. Kill that. Opponent has another Annex, we're in a lot of trouble. Ember Cleave is not lethal. We have 3 cards in hand. Okay. Them having the second Anox is really annoying. In fact, I think it's lethal. Yeah, because we kill these guys, and then they have 6 power in play. Just trying to set up that business, but kind of hard. Is there anything else we could draw into here that we wouldn't immediately be dead? Look at our other options. We shatter this guy, and then they draw a card, and then they get 6 1/1s, which just means we're dead. Yep. Dead to Exaxes. Yeah, Torbrand. Torbrand, beat him up, beat him up. We are up against Canister's list, which is more of a mid-range with the Jund Sacrifice list, so definitely keeping this hand. It's a grindy deck, but also has the ability to aggro us out. This guarantees our 4th land drop. And then Elspeth obviously can be pretty reasonable in this matchup in spots, and then Narset allows us to do the thing. So I've not personally played a lot with the Jund Sacrifice list, but I did play a little bit with it in this event earlier already. Bottom of land, we have plenty of those already. So that was I think a great idea by Wizards to kind of give people the chance to play the decks they wanted to play. That's an interesting one. Is it worth shocking in here? Let me just play Birth. Get a Plains card. Teferi. Teferi is nice, but it doesn't really slow down their... Or Narset's nice, but doesn't really slow down their card draw. Trail of Crumbs? Sure. Do they have it in their land? Okay. There's another land. Interesting. A lot of things we could do here. Don't currently have a counter spell, so Shatter the Sky is not the best in this matchup. Especially while they have an active Witch's Oven going. Unfriendo. Love the art on this Temple of Enlightenment. It is really beautiful. Don't think we're in the market for another Shatter of the Sky. At least not currently. It's an annoying level of card advantage. That's how they could potentially grind us out. Dispute and Narset, I think we can bottom both of those. Force them to make their decisions now. Now I need to draw a Dream Troller really quickly here. Even with 4 of them in our deck. Corvold's going to be a bit of a beast. Alright, so hopefully they just run out Corvold here. We're priced into Shattering the Sky here. Get an extra 2 points of damage off that. Gem Sacrifice deck still has some powerful draws to it. I mean, so we really need to draw E. Even with both Corvold and whatchamacallit being in play, Corvold and Murderous Rider, it means they'll be able to buy themselves a turn, and the cat plus the ovens are probably enough to close out the game. Just move along here. It's like, well, I can answer Corvold and whatnot. We're just getting too low on life, so on to the next match. Back for the third match here. Hand's fine, a little bit awkward with the white mana, but Blue Mirror. I hope our opponent doesn't go for a Teferi here. Of course they do. It does have some potential answers to Teferi, like Banishing Light and such. See if our opponent has a copy of. They don't, so that was awkward. Yeah, I'm interested in both of these, so draw the island first. Mystic Dispute here. Don't particularly care about him in the sea, honestly. Alright. Alright, opponent scoops. Alright, got our first victory against the mirror match. Back for another match with blue-white control. Hand's a little bit awkward, actually a lot of bit awkward. So I think we mulligan this one. Keep this hand, get rid of one, shatter this guy. So fires. Definitely interested in some land drops here. Or is this the teamer deck? Looks like it might be the teamer deck. Nope, blue-white mirror. Alright, cool. Birth of Meletus is fine, but not really in the spot. Oh, no, they are just got fired. Use a counter spell here. Fire's Invention into... What you got? Sure. Well, that's a whiff. Whifferino. Yes, answer to fires if they don't, especially if they don't have a 5th land, which they do. Chevalier. Alright, what you got? You're lucky that's not a draw effect. Okay. This isn't going to end well. It doesn't end well. Yeah, for the... That's why Jeskai Fires versus Blue-White Control is not considered a good matchup. You've seen some of my actual Jeskai Fires things, you know I complain that's like the worst matchup for Jeskai Fires. Anyways, we'll be back with one final match with this best of one Blue-White Control. We're back for our final match with Blue-White Control. This hand's keepable, especially on the play. I think I'm interested in the 4th land. Mono red, huh? Sure. Ardenvale. I think Ardenvale's fine. Got a couple of absorbs here, especially if they go for like an Anax. Yep, nope, I've had my fill of that card. Well, I mean, even if they resolve a whatchamacallit next turn, a Torbrun, that's all they're gonna have, so I think I'm fine with this ish. Tempo on this play is so brutal for them. And we have a veto too, in case they go for some... Alright. And we get to curved recontroller. So you can see, like, literally how swingy even the mono-red matchup is, which is probably blue-white's worst Game 1 matchup in the format. And even that's pretty close to even. So, really huge difference between play draw for blue-white versus mono-red. You know, kind of the thing when you're playing against decks with 1-drops and 2-drops and 3-drops, but, you know, we were able to curve probably into Dream Trawler there and then just kind of tra-la-la-la-la all the way to victory. But as far as looking at the deck, the reason I liked this particular build was just the fact that this deck tries to close out the game. I mean, from a pure control perspective, maybe it's not the best, but I think it's a lot of fun. And I say that as someone who doesn't usually particularly like control, at least in the more eternal formats. In standard, control in small doses can be fun, so a lot of fun. So if you're interested in checking out blue-white control, let me know down in the comments, and I can see about acquiring the cards on Arena. But I did want to give everybody kind of a quick taste of what blue-white's draws and such are like in this format. This has been John for MTG Nexus with the World Championship Showcase with blue-white control.